Good evening and welcome to Everything Tucson, where we give you all the latest news around the city. I'm Jamain Miller and it's Tuesday, March 20th. We're coming to you live from our studio downtown. Here is the news around Tucson. On Thursday, Arizona officials approved a liquor license for the McKell Center, home of University of Arizona basketball and football. The Tucson City Council approved the license back in December of 2017, but the plan stalled when a Tucson resident failed to protest over the license. The man said he worried about the negative impacts of serving alcohol at sporting events. However, the man did not show up to last Thursday's hearing. Some speculate he was hungover. In getting the license, the U of A agreed to a series of stipulations, including hiring a third-party vendor with experience in alcohol sales and hiring additional security to monitor the facility. They will also have to ensure that alcohol is served in plastic cups only and that alcohol sales will end during the second half when there's 16 minutes left in the clock. Governor Doug Ducey signed a bill that bars Arizona cities from taxing sugary drinks, which have been targeted in recent years as a major cause of diabetes in the U.S. The bill was introduced by Republican Representative T.J. Shope and was signed by Ducey without comment. The bill does not single out sugary drinks, but says that any taxed food products must be uniform. Sugary drinks such as soda have been taxed in cities like New York after they were blamed for the increase in obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. Opponents of these kinds of taxes say that it's not the government's role to influence consumer behavior, but supporters point to taxes on cigarettes, which have led to a drastic decline in smoking across the U.S. No city in Arizona is currently proposing a tax on sugary drinks, but Ducey's bill makes clear that cities will not be able to raise such a tax, which of course goes directly against the basic American creed to be overly taxed. Ducey also laid out his school shooting prevention this week, which focuses on increasing funds for mental health and officer training. The plan establishes severe threat orders of protection, which allows a group of people to determine whether a dangerous individual's guns can be taken away. This would only apply to individuals that are 18 or younger. This plan also offers $2 million in state funding for behavioral and mental health resources for schools, with up to $6 million in federal matching funds. Ducey's plan doesn't go as far as gun control efforts in states like Florida, which raised the age to buy a gun to 21 last week, along with expanding background checks in the state. But Ducey's plan also didn't wade into the controversial issue of allowing teachers to carry guns in schools like the Florida plan. Opponents say that Ducey's plan falls short of addressing the gun problem by not requiring background checks of private and gun show weapon sales. It also would continue the legality of bump stocks, devices used to make a gun fire automatically, and which was used in the Las Vegas mass shooting. The University of Arizona is proposing a tuition increase for the 2018-2019 school year, along with Arizona State University and Northern Arizona University. The proposal envisions tuition cost increases of 1.80% for residents and 1.93% for non-residents. Undergraduates in the U of A online program would also pay $10 more per unit. This is the first increase since the fall of 2015. 95% of the current student body wouldn't be affected by the tuition raises because they're covered under the guaranteed tuition program. However, incoming freshmen and graduate students will have to pay more if the tuition bumps go into effect. The Arizona Board of Regents will hold a public meeting to discuss the proposed tuition increases on Tuesday next week, March 27th, from 5 to 7 p.m. So, all you students who are fed up with the current system and want to let your leaders know that you demand higher tuition, be sure to come out. The meeting will take place at the university's Silver and Sage Room in the Sierra Vista Academy Technology Building. The university presidents will then present their proposals to the Board of Regents on Thursday, March 29th. The Board of Regents will then vote on the plan Thursday, April 5th. Let your voices be heard. You want higher tuition. The International Rescue Committee held an event at the Jewish Community Center on Sunday that provided the experience of a refugee. The event, called Walk a Mile in a Refugee's Shoes, intended to show people how refugees suffer from having to travel long distances with too little water and food. The IRC set up different situations that simulated a refugee's experience. Each participant had a name tag that represented the real name of a refugee. When traveling to each station, participants heard the recordings of real refugees sharing their experiences dealing with food shortages, traveling through dangerous terrain, and finding water for the journey. There will also be a rappelling station for those who want to get the US-Mexico border wall experience. So now we're going to go to Tammy King at the State House for this week's council update, which is a recap of last week's council meeting to get you sped up for tonight's meeting. This week's mayor and council meeting will air tonight after this show at 6 p.m. on Channel 20 Creative Tucson. Take it away, Tammy.
I'm Tammy King, and this is the council update, where we give you highlights from last week's mayor and council meetings. Remember that you can catch the council meetings live on Channel 20 Creative Tucson Tuesdays at 6 p.m. It was a relatively slow week after packed houses of recent meetings, where the council heard about the proposed 14-story high-rise going up on 4th Avenue. This week centered around proposed water rates hikes and the renewal of Business Improvement District in downtown Tucson. First off, during the public comment section, the representative from the Tucson Police Officers Association expressed concern in the low numbers of the police on the streets. The association's vice president, Tony Archibald, said that the total number of Tucson police officers is at its lowest level in 3 decades. He said that officers are leaving the department at an alarming rate, as 24 officers went to other agencies in southern Arizona over the past 6 months, with officers usually citing low pay for the reason of leaving. According to the public salary listings, starting officers in Marana and Oro Valley make more than starting officers in Tucson. Archibald said that there are only 332 patrol officers and sergeants taking 911 calls on a daily basis. At the same time, Tucson's population has grown by more than 120,000 people since 1990. Here's Archibald speaking about the staffing problems in the Tucson Police Department. Also in the public comment section, Kathleen Erickson, CEO Downtown Tucson Partnership, urged the renewal of the Business Improvement District. She noted that since it started in 1998 by the mayor and council, the BID has been renewed every 5 years, and that the project has led to growth for the downtown area. She spoke of the partnership's accomplishments, such as 5 weeks of programming over the summer, that she says attracted people from the foothills and out-of-towners, as well as a 97% increase in the new park users of the Hokami Plaza area. She also reported 93% decrease in the criminal activity near Hokama Plaza. Next came a proposal from Tucson Water to increase water rates and fees in 2019 through 2024. The council requested a public hearing on the rate hikes scheduled for May 22nd. Regina Romero expressed concern over the 5-year water raise and fixed administrative costs because she said it would dilute conservative measures. She says the rate hikes would likely impact poor and vulnerable communities. Romero said she'd prefer a 2-year process due to potential of the 5-year increase impacting communities differently. Romero was also concerned that these rate hikes were being instituted at the same time the city is considering a plan to give subsidies to companies who relocate to the city. Romero said that the 27.2% rate increase would be used to pay for corporations to come to Tucson. Finally, Romero asked for more community engagement to attract people to the low-income water program, which now only covers about 4% of Tucsonans, even though 25% of Tucson residents live in poverty. Paul Cunningham also expressed concern with a 5-year lock-in rate and said that the residents who conserve water should be rewarded. A representative from Tucson Water said that 3 town halls are planned for March 29th, April 5th, and April 10th on the issue. The council approved unanimously to set up a public meeting on the rate increases. The final issue of the night was the renewal of the Business Improvement District. The Downtown Tucson Partnership was seeking a notice of intent to renew. Merchants in the district will be given a notice and have 30 days to protest the move. If by April 15th the council has less than 50% merchants protesting, they will go forward in the motion to renew. If approved, the renewal will last for 5 years. Regina Romero asked if the bid boundaries can be expanded or changed due to the growth of downtown in the past 5 years. Kathleen Erickson said that if the renewal is improved, they would consider expanding the map in the next 5-year period because the change would involve a separate vote. The council unanimously approved the motion to issue a notice of intent. That's all we have for this week. Stay tuned for this week's mayor and council meeting on Channel 20 Creative Tucson.
Thanks for the update, Tammy. Don't forget to catch the council meeting at 6 p.m. on Channel 20 Creative Tucson tonight after this show. If you miss out, we have an update for you on everything Tucson next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Now, on to more news around the state of Arizona. A 1 million square foot Amazon warehouse may be coming to South Tucson as part of a project named Project Wildcat. For some reason, I don't know why they would name it that. They should name it like Project Javelina or something like that. I know there are javelinas here. I don't know about wildcats. Officials have been cagey on details, but unnamed Pima County officials, not to be confused with named Pima County officials, have said contractors are examining site plans for the warehouse. They also say that economic incentives are being discussed for the project. Amazon currently has 5 distribution centers with Amazon in Arizona, with 3 in Phoenix, 1 in Goodyear, and 1 in Tucson. The warehouses employ about 7,000 people in the state. The Tucson warehouse will be located at the Port of Tucson near I-10 and South Kolb Road. Pima County officials, the named ones, have not officially commented on the site. Amazon distribution centers have come under consistent criticism for labor practices, with employees working long hours on their feet and in some cases, refused breaks. In an article in The Atlantic last month titled "What Amazon Does to Poor Cities" said that workers are required to be on their feet all day, receive scant time for bathroom breaks or lunch. Workers are pressured to meet certain production goals and are penalized by getting written up for not meeting them. I must say, this reminds me of working at Creative Tucson. They're always giving us tasks and telling us to have them done by deadlines. It's complete tyranny. You guys gonna edit that, right? You're gonna edit that out? Cool. All right, good. It's complete tyranny. Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke took his first tour to Arizona on Saturday, visiting the U.S.-Mexico border and advocating for the Trump administration's proposed border wall. Zinke rode in on horseback for his assessment of federal lands, traveling with officials from U.S. Fish and Wildlife on the border near Sassabee, Arizona. Zinke said it was important to get out of Washington and come to the front line in order to interview residents and get a sense of what life is like along the border. He said that while he's in favor of building the border wall, he would talk to the land managers and residents about how the wall could be modified to fit the realities of the land. He said that the wall would need to consider environmental effects, but he did not give specifics of how the administration would balance conservation with national security. Environmental groups such as the Sierra Club and the Tucson-based Center for Biological Diversity oppose the border wall and have said the Trump administration have sued the Trump administration over what they claim will be environmental damage if the wall is built. The Tohono O'odham also opposes the wall. It would divide their land, which runs across the U.S. and Mexico. Zinke said that he would speak with Tohono O'odham officials as part of the tour. Imagine having a wall built through your house. I don't think I'd like that. A recent report by the Arizona Office of Economic Opportunity predicts that Pima County will see job growth over the next 2 years. The office compiled data from the U.S. Department of Labor, which forecasted growth across all sectors of the economy in Pima County, with total growth of 13,000 jobs by 2020. While this is good news, the job growth is still lower than the state. Arizona is projected to add 150,000 jobs at a growth rate of 2.5% by 2020, significantly higher than the growth predicted in Pima County. 2 women were arrested after they allegedly trespassed at Tempe Mosque and took video of themselves mocking the Islamic faith. 32-year-old Tani Gonzalez and 51-year-old Elizabeth Dauenheier were seen in the video bringing their 3-year-old children into the Islamic Community Center in Tempe. In the video, they say, "Look at this mosque, this ugly mosque, here in our backyard in America. This is the infiltration of the Arabic Muslim coming in and destroying America." Gonzalez can be seen in the video unlocking a gate that is marked "No Trespassing," then collecting pamphlets and removing items from the bulletin board inside the mosque. The children are heard insulting Islam as well in the video. Ahmed Al-Akum, the imam at the mosque, said the members of Tempe's Muslim community were disturbed by the video, especially that children were brought into it. However, when he heard about the woman's arrest, he said that, "My heart sunk. I know those ladies have children." The U.S. Supreme Court banned the state of Arizona from denying driver's licenses to dreamers or individuals who are brought to the U.S. When they were children and who are covered under the DACA program. Justices refused to hear the state's Republican-led challenge to the Deferred Action on Childhood Arrivals, or DACA program, which was instituted under the Obama administration. Governor Jan Brower had directed state officials to stop issuing driver's license to DACA recipients after Obama implemented the program. The state argued that Brewer's directive could not be overhauled because DACA was implemented through a Department of Homeland Security memo rather than congressional legislation. The ACLU sued on behalf of DACA recipients who were denied licenses. The Supreme Court also refused to hear a case from the Trump administration in February that challenged the DACA program. Now we're going to go back to Tammy King in downtown Tucson to find out about events going on in Tucson for this week. Back to you, Tammy. Events section, video. Thanks, Tammy. If you have an event that you'd like us to cover, send us an email at creativetucson.org and contact us via Creative Tucson's Facebook page. That's Creative Tucson. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our content on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. This was Jamain Miller with Everything Tucson. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. Stay creative, Tucson.